Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and back to another Urban Calisthenics workout of my full body calisthenics routine. In today's session, I'm excited to bring back to you squat fusion, which is one of my favorites, as each of the exercises that you'll be doing will be performed after a squat. The format, you'll be doing 5 exercises, 60 seconds per exercise with no rest in between for a total of 3 rounds. That's 15 minutes in total. Now the beauty of this workout is that you do not need any equipment whatsoever, just a small space to work in and you are good to go. As always, practice those instructionals before getting stuck in alongside a thorough warm-up. If you're not sure how to warm up, then follow the link in the description below for a warm-up that I feel is suitable for this routine, but by all means, do one of your own. That's enough from me. Let's see what's in store. So for the squat to pike push-up, you're going to start by moving into your deeper squat position whilst keeping the heels in contact with the floor. Once you've reached that end range, you're going to start by placing your hands on the floor, trying to get your hands as close to your feet as you can, but keeping your hands to around about shoulder width. From here, you're going to raise the heels as high as you possibly can, and now the intention is to perform a pike press, and we're going to do that by bending the arms but bringing the head to a forward position, turning the arms towards the body and aiming to get the head in contact with the floor. Once you reach that position, you're going to push out strong, push back into your resting squat position, keeping the chest nice and high, and then return to standing. So all the way down into the squat, place the hands as near to the feet as you can, take the hips up high, raise the heels as high as you possibly can, move into the pike press, breaking the floor as you work your way down, touch the head on the floor, extend the arms, back into full resting squat, and then return to standing. If the pike press is too challenging, what you're going to do is get yourself a prop, such as a yoga block, place it to the point where your head is going to meet it, but making sure the hands still sit slightly behind the block. So again, I'm going to go back into that squat position. As you can see, the hands are just behind the block because the head needs to move in front of the hands. Still going high off the heels, keeping the legs as straight as possible. Moving into the pike press, take the head to the block, push out strong, and then back into your resting squat position. So for the squat to single arm push-up, you're going to start by moving into your deeper squat position whilst keeping both heels in contact with the floor. From here, I'm going to bring one hand behind the foot on one side with the fingers turned out to around about 45 degrees. The leg on the supporting side will be stabbing underneath the other leg, making sure we get this leg as straight as possible and pretty much on the same path as the hand itself. From here, we can do the press one of 3 ways. Palm support, fingertip support, which is a little bit harder, and then no support whatsoever. All 3 presses, the intention will be the same. We're trying to get the elbows close to the body as we work the way to the floor and keeping the body in an upright position. So I'm going to go fingertip support on this one. I'm going to aim to get my ear as near to the floor as I possibly can, bringing the hips down with the shoulder to the lowest point. You then push out strong from that position, and all we have to do here is step back through to that squat position, switch across to the other side and do the same from here. So getting this leg underneath, keeping the body in a side-on position, fingertip support. We're going to turn the elbow into the body, bringing the ear to the floor, pushing out strong, moving back into your squat position, and then return to standing. As mentioned, we could do this with no support whatsoever, and it kind of looks like this. So the hand position is exactly the same. We bring the leg through, we take the hand, or what was going to be the supporting hand, away from the floor. Sometimes it's good to bring the hand up high, but you can put it wherever you want, but just keep the chest in an upright position. Turn the elbow into the body, ear to the floor if you can, pushing out strong, and then doing the same on the other side. So again, we're going to bring that leg through, Arm can go up in the air, elbow into the body, push out strong, move back into your squat position and return into standing. So for the squat to front lunge jump, you're going to start by moving into your deeper squat position whilst keeping both heels in contact with the floor. And from here, we're going to step back into our reverse lunge. From here, you're going to make sure your head, shoulders, hips, and the knee on the back leg are all on a similar path. And following this position, we're going to add in 2 lunge jumps. So all we're going to do is drive off the lead leg, switch the legs at the same time, and land pretty much the same position, but on the opposite side. We do that again to land that back knee. Once we've landed the second time, you step back into your deeper squat position and then return to standing. So squatting down, stepping back into the lunge, head, shoulders, hips, and knee on the same path. Switch and switch again. Step back into your squat position with a high chest and then return to standing. So for our squat to push up, you're going to start by moving into your deeper squat position whilst keeping both heels in contact with the floor. Once you reach that point, we're going to move into the push up itself. So we're going to start by placing the hands on the floor, around about shoulder width, maybe a little bit wider. You send the shoulders out in front of the wrists. You keep that weight forwards as you hop back into your support position. From here, you're going to perform a push up, keeping your shoulders stable, but most importantly, locking in that shape. So bringing the whole body down, breaking the floor, bring the elbows into the body. Once you reach that point, push out strong. You then hop back into your squat position, try and get that chest up if you can, and then return into standing. So squatting down, hands down, shoulders forwards, hop into support, lock in the shape, belly to floor if possible, head to floor. From here, lock out, back into that squat, high chest, and stand up. If the push-up is too hard off the knees, then you can simply do exactly the same, gently placing the knees on the floor, taking a little bit of weight off the upper body, all the way down on the press, release the knees, hopping back into your squat position. So for our squat to L-sit, you're going to start by moving into your squat position whilst keeping the heels in contact with the floor. And from here, I'm going to bring one hand behind the foot on the same side whilst keeping the shoulder directly over the top of the hand. I'm going to do the same on the other side and match the hands up. From here, you're going to work into your L-sit. Now, the idea is to pull the hips behind the arms as best you can whilst keeping the arms straight, pressing down into the floor and keeping the shoulders down as best you possibly can. Once you've reached that point, you're going to slide the feet away from the body, keeping the legs as straight as possible. If the hips are back far enough and the shoulders are forwards and there's enough compression and leg strength, you should be able to lift the feet off the floor. If you can't, just think about taking as much weight out of the feet as you possibly can. From here, you slide the feet into the body, move back into your squat position, and then return to standing. Now, just before we kick things off with the workout, I just want to let you know that if you want to gain access to the full Urban Calisthenics library, then head over to urbancalisthenics.com, where you can access over 100 calisthenics workouts with a new workout added every single week for just $4.99 a month. You can also take advantage of a 7-day free trial with no commitments and no payments up front. Now let's get into the workout. Thanks so much for taking part in this Urban Calisthenics workout. I hope you had a great time challenging yourself and breaking a sweat. If you did find this workout useful and beneficial, please give me a like and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. If you do want to gain access to the full Urban Calisthenics library, please visit urbancalisthenics.com where you can gain access to over 100 workouts with a new workout added every single week for just $4.99 a month. Keep up the great work, stay motivated, and I'll see you on the next workout.